Hey guys, so new phone, so we're trying something else, a little different with it. Um, I'm about to go out and go get some cat litter. I'm about to go in the rain and do it, but I don't mind the rain. Lived in Florida for a while, so obviously the rain's not a big deal. I want to come on here and talk about something that came across my feed on YouTube recently, and it's by a YouTuber, and I want to make sure I get her name right. Her name's Vikita Trivedi. I'm probably saying that right. I hope I'm saying it right. But I know she makes her stuff mostly for women, but like a lot of what she said was true overall. So it kind of just overall hit home for me. Um, in the video, or the video is titled "Quantum Physics Explains How to Quantum Leap into Your Dream Reality." Like in that video, she mentions about like a cycle that we go through regarding like the highs and lows of life. Um, like she gave a really good example of like being in college, writing an essay, and that you're kind of stressing yourself. You're procrastinating it, but you're stressing yourself. So you're kind of in a high state of stress, and then you turn it in. You feel the relief of letting it go and finally turning it in, and then you get the high, the coming down high, the relief high, and that feels amazing and it feels great, and that you finally did it, and then you go back to the lows again, essentially. And like that kind of really hit home. Like it kind of applies to a lot of things in life, and I want to like kind of talk about a little bit about that because for me personally, I've experienced a lot of burnout in jobs that I've had. Um, Several different jobs that I've carried throughout my life is that I'll work extremely hard at them for a year, 2, even 3 years, and I get completely burned out. Um, yes, cat. But I get completely burned out, and I put so much high stress into that, and then like the weekends are essentially like a relief, and then a high from the weekend, and then you're gonna go right back to it on like the Monday, so to speak. And it's just a cycle over and over and over and over again. Eventually, your body and your mind just it becomes, you know, it just wears you down, slowly peels you away like a butter knife through butter, so to speak, just kind of peeling away the butter. And that's when eventually when I change jobs sometimes. So, um, it, you know, in some ways, like I get it, like because we've been formulated that through college and or even before that in high school and junior high and all those, throughout your schooling years, you kind of formulated this pattern over and over and over again, again the stress, the relief, the high, and then the low again, and then you cycle through it over and over and over and over again. There's got to be a way to break the cycle. There has to be a way, and I think once you do break that cycle, like she kind of mentions a lot about, when you kind of do break that cycle, like a lot of things really change in your life, and a lot of the good things can actually start really occurring. So I'm kind of putting myself out there in that regard. You know what I mean? Like I think you can't expect to do the same thing over and over again, expect the same results. So you have to like continuously try almost different things, so that you can just throw things against the wall, and if it hits, it hits. You know. Um, I mean, you guys ever experienced that? Like, especially with jobs or even like your own schoolwork, like you experience like the highs and lows of going through it, and then you know, and then just feeling burned out. You know, um, like don't get me wrong, I have a good job, but it's getting to the point of I wouldn't say complete burnout, but I'm getting burned at both ends, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like the candle's burning at one end, and then the other end is sort of like the inflation aspects of things, um, and essentially just trying to keep up with that side of it. So the money that you're making isn't completely just being funneled away, you know. Um, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping that something on social media takes off, you know, something resonates with people and resonates with you in your personal life, and yeah, we can just essentially become our own brands and become our own businesses, and essentially just live a much quieter life, you know, without feeling like we're getting completely just burnt out. I kind of liken back to the chart, the greed chart. I call it the greed chart, but it's essentially where wages and then productivity. So like you see the wages kind of go flat, and then you see the productivity start doing this number, and eventually it has to really let's go back down again. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true. Like you can't have over productivity for decades and not expect people to get burnout. You just can't. I mean, it's eventually people have to see that their efforts are being paid and that they're being worthwhile. And otherwise, they're just not gonna do it. That's why you're seeing the quieting quitting thing. You know, that was maybe a few years ago, or whatever. But like, people still do it. Not me, but you know, I people do it. You know, so I think eventually that they're gonna somebody's going to realize that you can't expect or productivity for decades and decades without uh, paying people the right way. And I work for a good company; they do a pretty good job of it. But I'm just saying, like overall, uh, eventually it catches up, and yeah. So anyway, um, yeah, Sam had done a video while I wanted to chat for a few and kind of get your guys' take on like if you're feeling burnout, and if so, like what do you think's caused it? You know, was it part of your schooling? Was it part of the way you're brought up? Do you think it's mostly the market? Do you think it's mostly kind of internal? Maybe. I mean, that's okay to admit. You know that sometimes it is your own psyche. You know. So anyway, I want to come on here and chat for a few. Hope you all are doing well, and we'll see you next one.